This is Oilersnation Radio, your one-stop shop for everything Oilers. 1 hour of straight hockey talk with Bagged Milk, Tyler, Liam, Rick, and Dan starts now.
Tyler said he didn't want to talk about the Oilers today.
Why?
Well, no, not quite.
You said who cares?
Yeah, just because, they lost last night. Not ideal. And now they can't get home ice in round one. So,
well, they could.
Never say never.
Need Justin a miracle.
Bieber said that.
Just a small one.
I think there is the similar chance of them catching the Kings as there is of them missing the playoffs.
I saw a clip on the internet that said it doesn't matter if we have home ice or not. That we shouldn't be afraid of LA.
Who said that?
That was me.
That was you.
God,
and I agree. I did agree with you.
Said that last week too.
I've said that a couple of times already going in, but yeah, this nice to see everyone else getting involved.
Not even God. We'll be fine.
Liam's on his own on that one.
Yeah, I'm out on saying that.
Yeah, I'm out on not fearing God, sir. I very much appreciate you, or lady.
I appreciate them.
Why you gotta fear them?
Fear them.
That makes no sense.
Well, I fear. I'm a fearful boy.
I've been in a 3-year feud with the squirrels behind my house. I fear them. Yeah. I'm very quick to fear.
You should fear the squirrels. That's fair.
I told you could borrow Frank for a weekend. He'll clear that right up.
I might invite you over for a barbecue. That'd be great.
He would love to chase those squirrels.
Foot massage?
And a barbecue.
That's every barbecue at Tyler's always comes complete with a foot massage.
Hell yeah.
Got to start off with a delicious debate for our friends at Odd Company. Of course, we are proud to partner with Odd Company on the Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Perfect for the next big game, your next go-to lager, or to recover from a painful loss to a bottom-feeding team when you get goalied again. Find it at Odd Company Brewing at either of their Edmonton locations or at liquorconnect.com. Get your Nation Beer Everyday Lager today. The delicious debate is presented by Odd Company and delivered by Liam Horban.
Yes, it is. Today's delicious debate. Bit of controversy, I think, today in the fan base. I think it's been blown out of proportion a little bit, but what did you make of the response from the Oilers yesterday after the Radko Gudas hit on Corey Perry? But Rick, we'll start with you.
There was nothing immediate, so I'm not a big fan of that part. I know Podkolzin came by and ran him in the crease after a whistle shortly after. When Nurse got on the ice, it looked like he was ready to fight him, or at least asked him to fight. I also think you have to base it on who the person is. Mm-hmm. So being the fact that it was Radko Gudas that did it, I think a lot of guys I'll give him a pass here. Again, this is just on this one individual play. It has nothing to do with the rest of the year or the fact we've lacked before. Therefore, I'd like to see more now. But this one individual play, I think you can, some guys, I'm not really looking at you to do that. So if you're on the bench, if you're on the ice and it happened and it's not really in your weight class, I'm cool with it. But I do think Corey Perry kind of went after him. Nurse offered it. They didn't want it.
That's because Gudas remembers what happened the last time.
I also don't want Nurse fighting him. The last thing we want right now, we're seeing it almost every other game, is he's going to break his hand or something like that. I really don't want anybody getting hurt anymore. We seem to have an injury issue. So
every 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm kind of not terribly worried about them going at him.
I think you're getting Radko Gudas confused with someone.
Who? I am too, because he never played for the Sounds.
Roman Polak.
Oh, Roman Polak's who I'm thinking of.
I saw your tweet yesterday and I was like, damn, when did Gudas play for the Stars? And I just blindly trusted you.
Had his nose busted wide open.
I'm thinking of Roman Polak for sure. Yeah.
Either
way, you know what? Darnell Nurse would do it to him too. But I agree he would probably break his hand because that's how our luck is going.
Or you're gonna hit the helmet or I
actually like the response even after Strome hit Bouchard up high. Kapanen went over there. I think Kapanen was a little bit like, oh shit, we're doing this when Strome grabbed him, but Kapanen went over there.
Who did Bouchard pop at the blue line? So there's a bunch of plays before that. There was the puck was coming out and he stood some dude up at the blue line who I don't think was ready for to get hit. And I was wondering if that was Strome because the way that Strome reacted 2 shifts later.
Evan Bouchard.
Yeah. I know.
Our Evan.
See, these are the things that I wish I would have tried to record it or something. But I swear he stood, and I don't know if he did it on purpose, but he put his shoulder into a duck forward who dropped him. And he was almost more surprised. I guess I got to go with the puck now.
I would assume it was accidental being Bouchard. But BM, what did you make of the response?
I think even though it is Radko Gudas or Roman Polak, I would have liked to see an entire pile jump on him But I also understand that's just me being a caveman a little bit. Radko Gudas is a big man. I saw Darnell Nurse challenge him. Obviously, he didn't want that smoke. Rick is right. He probably would have punched his helmet or something the way our luck is going. So it annoys me, but I would have rather see the Oilers like, okay, Radko Gudas did that. We're going to crumple up, Cutter Gauthier into a little ball and chuck him in the stands or
That's
something.
what I said. Like, if you go to Gudas and
that.
you're like, let's go. And I mean, maybe Dan, you can speak more to the code side of it, but like, if you go to Gudas and say, you just hit one of our better players based on a season, let's go. And he says no, then I just go, okay, enough of you. Where's Mason? Where's Gauthier? Where's Mason McTavish? And if I'm Max Jones, who I think is the only guy maybe a little disappointed, if I'm Max Jones, I'm going, cool. I'm just grabbing someone then. If you're not going to answer the bell, I'm just going to take a guy.
It's kind of like when Corey Perry wanted to get Rasmus Anderson, couldn't get him. He's like, all right, Mikael Backlund it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the key for me is that I didn't mind the response from the team going after him a few times and chipping away. But then I hate Waz put the quote up there from Brett Kulak after the game. I hate when they're talking about it afterwards. Like, he didn't agree to do it. Well, then go and make him agree to do it. Like you said, Cutter Gauthier scored 2 goals on your team. Make life for the third period. I'm not saying grab Cutter Gauthier and start punching him, but make life unpleasant for Cutter Gauthier for the third period to the point where Radko Gudas wants to go to somebody on the Oilers and say, hey, you want to go for the response there. It's just,
and then you say no. Yeah.
And that's fine too. But it's the tit for the tat. And we're just losing a little bit of that in hockey. And this Oilers team, I think just has that extra little level of, again, on this podcast last week, we're debating which one of the wingers is going to find their way into this lineup. There's got to be a few guys that have to feel the heat of, I'm going to be a healthy scratch in the playoffs. Maybe I do want to go out. Jones is a perfect example of something where goes out and gets a game misconduct. So be it. Showed the coach that he gives a shit about the team.
Well, the other angle too, like a part of it is the refs completely lost the plot.
They were terrible.
They're generally bad most of the time. But last night was a clinic in ineptitude. It was just unbelievably bad. And then it got so bad to the point where Louis DeBrusque was just unloading the clip on the broadcast.
That's right.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And he was right. All of it. I was with him. I'm like, yes, we are all Louis right now.
Every time the referees came up, he had a new zinger.
Although they did get the one penalty call correct.
Well, and what I talked about earlier was the refs got themselves into the makeup call vortex where that first trip on Arvidsson was terrible, but they called it because they were like, shit, we missed so much. I even think them giving Strome the 4 minutes versus, I was like, okay,
he got two penalties.
Yeah.
So, and he deserved to.
Yeah, I think he did.
The fact they got 2 other guys out of that for 4 guys total plus Strome kind of blew I didn't think there was that much going on.
But they call the trip on Arvidsson where he didn't really get tripped, but they call it because you could tell like they wanted the makeup call. And then Arvidsson, like 45 seconds later, gets tripped legitimately and goes down. And then they're like, we don't call that because we just called the trip we shouldn't have called. And that's why I think that game just spiraled and got out of hand from an officiating perspective, is because like they were like, we're going to let him play. Okay, that was a bad choice. We're going to call everything. And then they were like, shit, we called everything. This can't just be a power play fest. So then they went back to calling nothing. It was very confusing.
There was even a couple of times too, you guys may have noticed it. It felt like the puck came out of the zone at least 2 or 3 times. And the linesman I could see it was clearly not in the zone from my bed at that time of night. Holy moly. 8:30 p.m.
Well, what do you think? It's your delicious debate. What do you think about the response?
I think it was actually a good response. And I think it gets to a certain point in the game where I think immediately after, like you said, BM, you want them to kind of be in it and get it done right there and then. But Nurse, to his credit, grabbed Gudas in that timeout, the media timeout. You could see him at the face-off as well, asking him, and Gudas, so they had a shot on him at the time being like, I'm not doing it. Henrique ripped off Gudas's helmet. Mm-hmm. Perry left his stick in his gut there too. Henry got that penalty as well. Yep. There was another one. Podkolzin hit him a couple of times. Like, I think they really did do a good effort of trying to address Gudas. Now, I would agree that you can go and get other guys. There was a replay and it was kind of nothing, but Nurse did got a Gauthier behind the net. Like, I think in comparison to what we've seen most of the season, it was actually like a respectable response from the team after seeing a guy in Perry who has stepped up for them how many times this season. It's got to the point where it almost feels annoying that he's been the only one that has done it. But I asked Tyler this too, and I guess this is an extension. I feel like since Perry called himself out and the team out when Skinner got injured against Dallas, that the team has a better responses to situations in games. There seems to be more scrums. They're going to the net a little bit more as well. And maybe, I don't think it is a coincidence, to be honest. I think there's something must have been said for them to become this different version of themselves.
Well, I think like when Corey Perry said there was going to deal with it internally, like a guy like that probably means it a lot.
Yeah.
He's not just talking to talk.
No.
He's been in rooms with a lot of guys before, have said things before. So he's kind of learned from a very young age. I think it's just in his blood too. That's just the type of dude he is.
It is frustrating though. Like I wish like we didn't have to have this conversation every week or every other week.
We don't really have anybody who's going to fight on the lineup outside of Corey Perry there, right? And again, like Nurse, you're very worried about what could happen. And then, I mean, teams only have 2-3 guys. 4 guys are going to scrap, right? Then you get the one-offs like the Embersons, and I don't want him jumping in there.
Yeah, like I said, I think it just gets to a point in the game where it's like, okay, let's just try and win now. Like we can focus on it a little bit, and I think it lingered the whole time. But like they needed to score goals, and they obviously didn't end up accomplishing either of the things we've discussed so far. But I don't know.
I was expecting Troy Stetcher to jump in like he did with Sean Couturier.
Just get through the games healthy.
And that's on my other angle too. And you mentioned it. I said it on No I Need To. Is like, what if Nurse just punched him right inside of the helmet and cracks 3 knuckles?
Everybody's going to sit there and absolutely tear Nurse apart.
Like, what an idiot. How could he do this? Like, well,
but like, that's why I think to Dan's point, like, hey, Max Jones.
Yeah.
You're up,
That's
pal.
fair. That is a fair
You're
comment.
up, pal.
I agree.
But I do think Max Jones got into one scrum later on in that game too, around the net.
There was
but it
2
wasn't
scrums.
enough.
There was 2 scrums in the third period that were of note enough that I agree with you guys when you say that, like, to me, it was good enough of a response. But again, it's just that it's that extra step that the wingers that feel the heat of going to be healthy scratched in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But this really comes down to your GM and your management bringing in players with that in their blood.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have a lot of very nice gentlemen on this team.
Skill.
Polite boys.
Yeah.
Nice boys.
So, I mean, what did it take for Nuge to get going? What does it take for Hyman to go? And it takes a lot, especially now.
Yep.
Like they know exactly how close we are.
Again, I worry about Nuge's hand, but we're overdue for a Nuge scrap. That really gets the boys going when he drops.
Hyman. Hyman's been kind of out of it recently. I'd love to see him get going.
What was his last goal?
5 games ago.
5 games ago. That was, it was Seattle when they got blown out 6-1. I had anytime goal scorer that game.
Perfect.
Yeah, he was on a nice run. He scored back-to-back. Dallas and Seattle actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals in a 5-game stretch, and then he's gone 5 games without a point.
Did he get one against Winnipeg too?
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay. Give him a good bit of credit. He's not been that consistent this year too, so.
Moving along to news, I want to give a shout out to our friends at Oodle Noodle who are celebrating 20 years.
Oh,
Platinum is the tradition 20-year anniversary gift. So Oodle Noodle is introducing platinum pricing happening at Oodle Noodle from now until April 20th. In-store and takeout only. Get 2 signature boxes and 2 spring rolls for only $20. Well, you're a big Oodle Noodle guy. That's a good deal.
That's a hell of a deal.
Smoking deal.
The anniversary is actually this coming Thursday. So that is in 2 days. Pop on into Oodle Noodle. All Oodle Noodle locations will be giving away free 20th anniversary t-shirts to the first 20 customers at every location. First come, first serve. So get them while you can. Oodle turns 20. Dan's already got the t-shirt on.
I got the t-shirt ahead of time. Thanks, Kennedy.
You scooped one.
Mm-hmm.
Go check out Oodle Noodle. So obviously last night, disappointing loss. Losing to the Kings, frustrating. I don't think the Oilers played necessarily poorly against the Kings. Kemper was just really good. Again, problem, can't score. Last night against Dallas, Dostal was good. Or not Dallas, the Ducks last night, Dostal good. Again, Oilers can't score. This is a problem.
Has been all year.
I didn't get to see a single second of the Kings game, and I was curious. Evan Bouchard shooting 7 shots. Where did the rest of the offense go in that game? Like, was the offense from the perimeter like the Kings like to force?
It was like, I mean, last night they were able to get things kind of going. Against LA, I just felt like they were really missing their drivers. Like they would, a lot of one and dones, a lot of rush down the ice that ends up being nothing. It was a little bit disappointing. And part of that is just skill, right? Like these just aren't guys that are capable of going and beating the LA Kings without their big guns. But another part of it is there's a few guys on this Oilers team, and this was a problem last night, who they're just allergic to shooting the puck.
Yes.
Like Kapanen, Janmark to an extent has a problem with this. Podkolzin's bad for it. Like these guys that just pick up the puck and you're like, throw it on net, see if something good can happen. And they want to wait until basically they can make a perfect pass to someone. They're never looking shot.
Trying too hard.
Well, and I also thought on the LA game too, there was a lot of perimeter shots where even if there was a rebound that Kemper kicked out, nobody was there to get it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because to me, like last night against the Ducks, the Oilers, a lot of those guys like Janmark, Kapanen, they built good groundwork in the offensive zone, but there was no finish whatsoever from anybody. Like Janmark walked in front of the net 2 or 3 times and no shot. Like you said, he was looking for the perfect pass when he's the only guy between him and the goalie. It's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, Zellweger did a good job on one of the Janmark chances. I think it was him right in front of the net, the defenseman block.
Okay.
But for the most part, obviously, Dan, you're right. It's been pretty much the same for those guys all year. Like Kapanen scored, I think since like January 26th.
I truly think this is a confidence issue.
I think
You're overthinking it.
Such an interesting one though, because
Kapanen flies all over the ice.
he might be one of the best puck carriers on the Oilers. He just has zero finish.
There's just no point to like whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
There's no finish to it. It's just frustrating because he flies. He's everywhere.
Well, like even that goal against yesterday, the McTavish goal to make it 3-1. Kapanen gets the puck, walks into the slot. He takes 2 strides.
You can shoot that.
Well, he's 2 guys in front of the net, doesn't shoot, keeps going, doesn't shoot again. And then
Strip
Bouchard,
down.
clearly recognizing this guy's looking past, jumps down, and Kapanen still just doesn't move the puck. Like, God,
Yeah.
just so
But
frustrating.
that's literally been a thing all year. And you can replace names in exact situations. But this type of thing has been happening all year. The adversity has been crazy like that.
It's too bad with Kapanen because he came in, did so well.
Yep.
At first, like, I don't know, let's just say 25 games or so. He was a good top 6 player for the Oilers. And then all of a sudden just got bumped down the lineup and was
Just
just never
overthinking
able
things and
to
thinking
score.
too much and trying too hard. Just let your talents just take over. Just let your natural fire the puck, especially without like the big guys. You think they should be shooting for days at this point.
Well, they did have 49 shots yesterday.
20 of them came from the defenseman.
Well, and there's also the angle too, like the goal Henrique scored. That is a shot with traffic in net. It's not a pretty play, but that is a hockey play that works a lot.
Even the Jeff Skinner one. It's the same play.
What did Louis say?
If you can't identify who scored the goal, it's a good goal.
Yeah. And that's what it was. Like it was an ugly tip.
Yeah.
Both of them. More of those. Sometimes you have to create your own chaos. And I think the Oilers haven't done a great job of doing that.
They just have to realize like there's a bunch of third line type of players out there, and third line players should be funneling everything to the net.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because even their like best players on paper, Hyman, I guess more than Nugent.
Funnel the net.
That's all he is known for.
Mhm.
That's when he's best.
Yeah, like even Nugent.
Everybody should be funneling to the net. The coaching staff should be taking everything, all the game plans we have with everybody involved and putting that aside and writing up new ones, simple ones, to bring out the maximum efficiency out of this team right now.
Well, I would think from what Dan said, 20 of what was the 49 shots, I think.
47, 20 being
47, okay. 20 of them being from defensemen to me would indicate that is probably a game plan. Get pucks to the net from the blue line, get in front and cause a bit of chaos. I think they've been slightly better recently. Like I think of like the Arvidsson goal against Vegas.
He was posting it last night.
Yeah,
That
posting it
almost
last
went
night.
in.
That would have been nice. Love of the game.
But you're not
like, even like looking at the forwards too, though, like Hyman had 5 shots. Nuge had 7. Brown had 3. Henrique had 3. So they were shooting last night. Also, you got to tip your cap to Dostal. He was really good.
Mm-hmm.
He's so positionally sound. Like he doesn't make the job look very difficult, but I think he makes great saves over and over.
He made
again.
great saves all over the place.
That one on Jones, it's really nice.
Yeah, from Perry to Jones.
the Perry.
Yeah. Also,
Although if I'm being a nitpicker on that one, Perry, you're the one with 16 goals here. You shoot that thing.
I
yeah.
thought that too.
I had one other thing too from that game last night.
I was just going to say for the shooting, the defensemen shooting as much as they are right now, we're not seeing enough rebound goals for that to
Or
me to be
tips.
an effective strategy.
Yeah, need the chaos.
You got to get the chaos involved. And if they're going to shoot 20 times from the point, there's got to be people there to clean up the trash.
Yes.
Has to.
Which
Or just create the traffic.
Yeah.
which is another case for Jeff Skinner to continue being in this lineup. Where have his last 2 goals come from? Both have been deflections, either off his stick or off his skate, that have found the back of the net from point.
I do not think he comes out. I honestly think it's
He
Kapanen,
can't.
it's Maximum, and it's Podkolzin. And I thought I really thought the decision was made a lot easier last night when he bent his knee all wonky.
I got that in a second here. Yeah. Yeah. I thought we were losing a 6th player as Podkolzin's leg looked like it ripped off his body.
It hurt my knee.
I still do.
I'm still hurt.
I still do wonder if maybe we did lose him for some time though, just because like one of those things where they were already down enough men and then maybe you get injured, that swelling
Like
makes it so
Draisaitl?
that it can kind of, you can come back, play it out for the rest of the day, and then you'll find
Yeah,
out.
that might be why they called up Phil. Maybe they do think like, hey, a McDavid or a Draisaitl is going to be close to returning. Also, we now don't know about Podkolzin, but
Yeah,
Well, we need
Phil
an extra
was-
4 just because
I know,
last night's roster with Podkolzin.
yeah, but I'm saying maybe because we were talking earlier, like, oh, does the Philp thing mean that neither McDavid or Draisaitl are playing on Wednesday? It's like, oh, maybe one of them are.
I would assume they just keep pushing them back.
Yeah.
I mean, you're seeing everybody do this now. Florida's taking all their guys out, right? Like, it's what is the point? It's a St. Louis. Like, what is the point of playing them?
Do you think it's a good strategy?
I will tell you.
I
at
mean,
the
we're
end of
slipping
June.
a little bit too much for my liking.
I will tell you at the end of June.
The Oilers are now tied with St. Louis and 6 points up on Calgary.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I had like a little panic attack as I was getting into bed yesterday, being like, the Flames are only 6 points back of us. Uh-oh. And then I went and did the math and I'm okay. But there was a moment there I was like, oh, fuck, what if they don't win again?
I want to change gears a little bit. What do you guys think of Olivier Rodrigue's first NHL start?
He's the smallest goaltender we've had in a net for many, many years.
He does look small.
Like that's just a observation, not a comment on him at all. We've liked to have gigantic goaltenders recently, and he went down on his knees, and I was like, if you fire that puck properly, you can go clean over his head and under the post or under the crossbar.
I thought that he played, I mean, the 857 or whatever, the save percentage is not sexy, but I also think the 3 goals he allowed were more of a product of the mistakes in front of him than they were what he did wrong.
Yeah, I didn't like where he kicked that puck on the first goal, but other than that, he was fine. Also, they have him listed at 6'1", 158.
158.
You can take that exact comment and put it back on like 80% of the goals scored this year against the Oilers.
Yeah, 100%. Like the rebound, I agree. Tyler kicked out the bad spot. Bush put it in a not great spot.
Cleared it quick. But
If you go back and watch, like the reason why I was just angry that Bouchard was getting all the hate, although Devin Dubnyk did bring up a good point of Bouchard at the beginning of that play, just going to the corner for no reason. But if you watch Max Jones, he doesn't take a stride for about 4.5 seconds. He just stands like dead still, not even like gliding. He's dead still for 4.5 seconds. And then Bouchard knocks the puck to the top of the zone, and Podkolzin and Jones are standing, not taking a stride, and Kapanen is out of the frame somehow. That goal was just all around a shit show.
So there was that one. Then the second one by Cutter Gauthier kind of walked dad on that one.
Yeah, that one was bad on Bush.
he's got great speed. That's going to happen once in a while.
But the one part about that I didn't like is Bush angled him to go that way and seemed unprepared for it to happen.
He just like he refuses
quick.
and he refuses to take a penalty.
I know, I don't get it. Just trip him. That power play
right?
sucks.
Like that's what that is 100% it is. He gets enough on you to try and stop you without taking a penalty. And once you're past, he's like, I'm not taking the penalty. It's like he's going for Lady Bing or something.
Yeah, take the penalty.
Yeah.
Call him down.
Lady Bing. Yeah, because it's such an easy penalty. You guys literally would have
cross check
prevented
on the hip.
Just
That's gonna hurt for me.
Knock out his ankles.
Yeah. Well,
It's not that
careful. No, I've seen guys drive toward the net before and defense take out the ankles.
We've got PTSD on that.
Yeah, you be careful. You give him a quick cross check to the hip and really.
I still remember you, Andrew Ladd.
Yeah, I'll never forget that.
The third goal on Rodrigue was obviously a breakaway. Tough one.
What'd you make of that one? Like, because people in our chat were saying like, "Where's Bush going?" Where it's like, okay, they have a wide open wing, and I get that he is the last guy, obviously, but that's a great scoring opportunity for him to just go down a bit more, jump into the play.
And what was the score in the game?
At that moment, it was 2-1.
Yeah, so you're taking chances to try and go for the offense.
Yeah, exactly. And it was a good opportunity to do it, and Kapanen made a bad play because he's not that good right now.
But he's overthinking it. This team is so confident, or they walk the blue line with the puck so often.
Yeah.
Especially when they start cycling in their own. You have forwards up there doing that. You got defensemen doing that. It's silly. It's like a sense of confidence. So it's gonna burn you once in a while, but it also helped us a lot.
And I also think like the Oilers should be okay giving up a goal like that when they're so handily outplaying the other team. But again, you can't score. That is what it is.
Bush almost redeemed himself for whatever everyone was hating him for anyway when he nailed it off the post for 2 seconds.
Yeah, that would have been a real nice little wrap up for him.
Anyone notice Jack Michaels had a bit of a voice crack when he was doing?
Oh yeah,
he was going off.
Pure chaos. That final 20 seconds, his voice got high.
Well, the Ducks were just chaos in general in their own zone.
Yeah.
Like they're so bad.
I'm going to read you a stat from last night on NHL.com, and it's going to make you not trust the stats you get from NHL.com ever again. The website says the Oilers turned over more pucks than the Anaheim Ducks yesterday. And there's just no way that can be true, because it felt like every second shift, the Ducks were turning over a puck and it was instantly leading to a grade A chance.
In the last minute, you saw a bunch.
It said the Oilers had 4 takeaways in that entire game. There's no way.
There's no way.
They had at least 10. The Ducks were coughing everything up. It was
They
like
were
terrible.
Homer stat crew.
Very.
I wrote a third company to do this stuff, people. Come on.
Anyway, not great.
Volunteers.
Changing some gears a little bit after
Pay
the
him in
loss
jerseys.
last night. Stuart Skinner has returned to
Gold.
practice this week. According to Gregory, could play this week. Important for him to get some games. Do you think the late return of Skinner affects anything for game 1?
I think how he plays does. I think right now, like if I wrote about this today on the site, kind of like my 3 things I'm watching for in the final 5 games. I said, if everyone was healthy and the playoffs started today, Stuart Skinner's your starter, but everyone is not healthy and the playoffs don't start today. So you don't know when Stuart Skinner's going to be healthy, and you don't know what's going to happen in the 5 games from now to the end of the season. Even if you say you're going to give Rodrigue 1 more on the last day of the regular season to rest some guys, and then you're going to sit there and go Pickard 2, Skinner 2. What if Pickard has a shutout and it's the what if game? I get that. But like, what if Pickard plays great and Skinner comes back from injury and it's like, oh, he doesn't look good?
I think we've done it long enough this year where they've stuck to their schedule. They haven't kind of ridden that type of situation, that in the last 5 games here, it's like the first 5 plays of an NFL game. They're written. They're done. You're doing them one by one regardless. And I think, yeah, that's just the way it goes.
Liam?
Yeah, I agree. I just think it's such a... I don't think it matters. I think Skinner gets game 1.
I think so.
I also think he
As long as he's healthy. Health is the only
is the biggest
issue, I believe.
He's
Speaking
been
of
there,
health,
done it.
good news is we got 7 minutes, 10 seconds of Trent Frederic.
Woo!
They were fun too.
The first 6 seconds were special.
It's called an appetizer.
Yeah, and a moose bouche.
And then there's a little bit of a wait. Cleanse your palate. And then you get the main course, which will be April 20th or 21st.
Tyler told me he was going to be a really good pickup, though.
We didn't bring him in for the last 5 games. We brought him in for the playoffs.
And I'm kind of out on like replying to people who talk shit to me on Twitter, because like I did enough of that in the deadline. It's not good for my mental health. But I saw people, there was like a thread yesterday that was started with like, your Remchuk and Gregor said Trent Frederic was going to be this great addition. And then someone replied and was like, your Remchuk called him a dream addition. What an idiot. What did you want me to go get the Bruins medical records next time? Like,
you should do that. Like,
you
why did
also
you do
have to be able to predict the future and know exactly how this guy is
so
going
when
to
we
heal.
trade for the guy, they're like, 10 days. And then it turns into more than that. And then he hurts his ankle in the first 6 seconds of his first game back.
and like
Why didn't you see that coming?
it's on, like people are so stupid. And
Also,
like,
they may have put him in there a little bit sooner than he was ready.
No, Rick.
Just because there was another injury there.
Stan Bowman
Leon
says
just went down.
re-injuring is a part of injuries.
Oh,
So,
it sometimes is, but
If the medical
Leon-
professional says he can play, he is cleared to play.
Here's my thing.
There you go. I'm
The
down.
Oilers need to raise that bar of what
That's
you
not
can.
something to-
They have been
It's
asked.
the Oilers have nothing to do with it.
Nelblock did an interview, and they asked him, "Is like, did you beg your coach, your medical staff, to let him play?" And they said, "We've been asking, but today was the first day that TD4s has come up to us and said he is ready to go." So therefore, you have to trust what the medical
down.
professionals have to say.
Things can't always go your way.
And there's also
It's
like
gonna happen.
high ankles it's a gnarly injury.
And
very
it's
finicky.
another reason why Evander Kane should go on a conditioning stint.
And if Leon was playing,
It is.
I don't think that Trent Frederic plays that game. But Leon was all of a sudden
I would
out.
disagree.
And they're like,
on-
okay, well, maybe he is ready. Let's give him a go.
I said it on Friday on this podcast. I was worried that they were rushing him back because of the injuries.
We can't
To other
worry
players.
about that stuff
Yep.
because we don't know.
And we're also not the medical professionals putting his own, that's not just his team. He's putting his own like life on the line here. Like, he's got his medical license. We've
Yeah.
seen that this can be an issue because they've brought this up about guys who are hiding in the LTIR situation, right?
Yep.
And the medical professional is doing this, putting his license on the line and saying, no, this is exactly what I think.
All I know is TD Force is due for a raise. He's having a busy season.
Yeah. Well, he's
He's
not.
had a-
He's
he's
not
had
to
a
do
easy
much
couple
last few
years.
I don't
Yeah.
know how that just happened
Yeah, Liam broke the table.
with my mind.
yeah, definitely not your leg that's pressed up against it.
It is barely on it.
So Trent Frederic,
As it
Now.
moves.
it was a good time, not a long time. We'll see you
Yeah.
back in the
And
playoffs.
is there is a chance this is bad luck and it just didn't heal the way he thought it would.
That happens a lot.
I would bet the farm it's bad luck.
Yes.
And I just love people being like, oh, the media told us Trent Frederic would be such a great ad. He's done nothing. It's like, hey, first off, let's
He hasn't played at all.
Yeah.
He was also awesome.
And yeah, he was a lot of fun in the 7-10 he did play.
That
He
6
had
seconds
more
is great.
scrums than the rest of the team combined.
Just started punching Kevin Fiala in the face. That was great.
It made
Yeah,
me
I love
smile.
Yeah, I was happy about that.
I love it, even though he was like clearly
Clearly.
in tough shape. He was still throwing his body around. So yes, I think he's going to be a good pickup when he is in the lineup. Shout out to Jay for buying that jersey.
It also says to me, the fact he kept going in that game, that if he had to,
he probably would be.
come around, he will play.
Yes.
There's no doubt in my mind he will go.
That was weird though. Like he was very clearly laboring and was just like, give me one more shift. And he'd go back again and again. And it was like, how did he was very clearly hurt.
You want those types of guys on your team. And I pretty much don't care what sport we're talking about.
Do you know the other thing too, which I noticed? A lot of guys, when they're injured, will go to the bench and talk to the medical staff. He just kind of seemed to sit there until someone came to him and asked him. Like, I don't think he wanted himself out. And I think
No, hell no. There's no chance he wants out.
Another
And he does.
7 minutes and 4 seconds. Recognize that.
Doesn't know the staff that well yet.
Yeah, he might.
Well,
No,
he
he
knows
doesn't
those guys pretty
He
well.
forgot the name.
He knows that's the only guys he's talked to for the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'd like him to be hanging out in the hyperbaric chamber at Connor's house place. When Connor's not in it,
That hydrogen tub he's got.
Yep.
Get in there.
Talking about the injuries, can I tell you a little bit about the Bakersfield Condors?
Oh boy.
Sure.
It's a shit show.
I was going to say, are we just talking injuries or are we
How
getting
many
right into
players
it?
do they have? Can we guess how many players they have?
Well, I was going to read you how many guys are on the IL right now.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is pretty good.
So they're missing Drake Kajula, Derek Ryan, Cam Wright, Travis Dermott, Jacob Perreault, Phil Kemp, Lane Peterson, Ruby Jarventi, Seth Griffith, Josh Brown, and Connor Clattenburg, who just joined the team. And now Phillips recalled. So the Condors are without 3, 6, 9, 11. They're without 12 regulars for their game.
Enjoy
like
the
some
upgrade,
explanations,
Wichita
though.
Thunder.
Like, is Brown hurt? I don't think Derek Ryan's hurt.
Derek Ryan is not hurt, and some of it's been slipping out of Bakersfield here that the Oilers reclaimed Travis Dermott, and that was on February 26th, I believe. Travis Dermott has apparently been sick and then was on the paternity list, I believe. And I think Josh Brown might have been the same. He just said he was sick and hasn't played in a month. So again, I don't know the exact dates, the exact details. I'm sure if I'm wrong on any of this, our good friend Original Posar will send us a DM and I'll correct it all on Friday's pod. But I think it's kind of fishy that all these guys aren't showing up. And also the Oilers are just being like, that's fine. No, Josh Brown is refusing to report.
Get out of that contract.
Can we rip up his contract, please?
Brandon Saddam.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe you have to wait till the end of the season to do
even
that.
Derek Ryan, you don't. Again, playing in the NHL, it's not your right. If another team
You're getting paid $1 million a year,
go play hockey. I know you have a family and it sucks and you got to leave Edmonton, whatever. Your job is to go play hockey. Go play hockey.
and part of the role of an athlete like that is you get mentored at the very beginning and you get into your prime, and then on your way out, you help those on your way out.
And there was that clip Bruce Kurlock posted of Derek Ryan a few weeks ago or a month ago. And he was asked if when he goes down to Bakersfield, he's a mentor. And he was like, no, pretty quiet. And I was like, wow.
Which is funny too, because McDavid called him a quiet leader on the team or something like that, right?
I wonder too, with Derek Ryan, this is probably the last year of his NHL career. They're just hang out in Edmonton.
And yeah, maybe there is that, but then also you're just screwing over Bakersfield so hard.
They need the help right now. A veteran like that who's been on a hat. Yeah, okay. You know what? I'll go down and help them out for the last time. I guarantee you, 89 would have went down there and done that and done the job Devin a respectable veteran.
Yeah, like Devin Shore, another guy who's was up and down all the time.
Yeah,
and you go down there, you play, and it
pass the torch on. That is,
it sucks for them because it also
circle of
damages development for those players like Savoy and Philp and whoever else is down there, Petrov. Those guys need to play in good games, and if they're being introduced with this terrible environment, it's not good. Also, maybe it says something about the coaching stuff down there. If you have all these guys who are I'm good.
Yeah, I would like to know more about how these guys are.
There's got to be something inside.
But your Venti, he left already, didn't he?
He went home to Finland.
Yeah, he's whatever. That's fine.
And Dermott
Brown. Come on.
It's not like those guys have just been in the NHL forever, like Derek Ryan has. Like
And
those
also,
guys have been in the American League.
If you're Travis Dermott, are you just packing it in after this season then? Like, do you not want games on your resume?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Weird. Good times. Get in there, Keith. You got cleaning up to do.
That one kid they brought up from Fort Wayne, I think they are now, right?
Oh, no.
Brett Brochu.
Yeah, the goalie.
With like a 5-0 shutout in his first game. So
Yeah.
Nice.
shout out to him. I don't think it went well this weekend. He might have played both. Obviously, did you say Rodrigue too? He's in Edmonton.
He's gone. Yeah, they're missing their starting goalie.
Damn.
Yeah, Ryan Holt tweeted out the lines, and like I don't know any of the players.
Yeah,
One guy worked at Safeway there the other day.
So top line, D'Amato,
Yeah.
He's an American
around.
League player.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
James Hamlin, and Matt Petrov. Okay, I actually know them. Kepin with Savoy and Pitlick, which would be Tyler Pitlick's cousin.
Rhett.
Yeah, Rhett. Svetlikov with Corcoran and De Jong. I know De Jong, Ethan De Jong.
Yeah.
I saw his jersey in the game worn section at the
Corcoran. He
the
might
Oilers store.
be the Thai player that they have.
Okay.
The witch?
I don't know. I think we have a play from Thailand.
Oh, crazy.
Gruby with Josh Prokop. I know him, Golden Bears cap.
Gruby's on the fourth line.
Yeah,
with all
Gruby-
those players out.
Gruby with Prokop and Stonehouse. And the D pairings are Deneen with Carrick, Addard with AKL, and Mayhew with Brady. I don't know.
Man, there was a
Brady,
time when
Tom?
I was like, hey, 2 to 3 guys, I think, make the NHL. I think 4 to 5 to 6, kind of like they fit in that gray zone. And in here, Savoy, I don't know where I'm sitting with Petrov anymore. Like I'm holding out hope for him. I think Noah Phillips in his last kick of the can with the Oilers. If he doesn't do it now,
he's no longer waiver exempt after the season.
Correct. And he needs a new deal, which he could just choose to not sign.
I don't think any of those defensemen are possible. Like Deneen, sure, that can be like your 8th or your 9th, 10th. But like Max Warner's gone. He was like, I was like, oh, maybe he gets there. This is terrifying.
There's no one there.
Clattenburg, they just put that in my blood here the other day. But we're out 3 years away for him.
Well, obviously, like thinking about that, it makes sense why Stan Bowman's rooting around in Europe. College players, like they have to build up that depth chart.
And you'd think as well, like just the reface, I guess we can call it, of like the organization the last year or so, 2 years, I guess. Bakersfield's kind of the only place that hasn't been touched on like their GM, their staff. Like you would imagine now it's like, okay.
Well, we lost our 2 big defense. I mean, 2 bigger name defensemen the last 2 years with Kesslering and Warner.
Yeah, and obviously that's not helpful, but I'm sure there's many other teams as well. Like, I don't know enough about the American League, but that Colin Chalk was a video coach. And then Woodcroft and Manson both came up and he was just kind of promoted. Like he never had any head coaching experience before. And that's not his fault that he's in this position. I think he's done a half-decent job for what he's been given. This roster has not been good, but it seems like next season is okay. They're going this draft class, which Bruce Kurlock labeled their best one in a decade, is going to now push its way into the American League. And there's a few other guys that'll come in and do well. And hopefully, like it's important for that organization to also win games.
Yeah, you need some success down there.
But those guys need to play. Like we did this once already with the Ty Tullio group of players. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling good about this. And
if you're old enough to remember, at least we have an AHL team these days.
That's fair. That was rough. Sorry. JDD, was he the one who?
Yep.
Yeah, he's the one who really suffered.
Going back to like the injury report, Tyler, is there any other news about who's coming back when or targeted to?
No, they didn't skate today. So I would imagine we'll get some answers tomorrow with it being a game day. But yeah, there's nothing. Just flipping through Gregor right now. They emergency recalled Philp, which probably tells you either Pods is out or neither McDavid or Draisaitl are fully ready to go. So yeah, we'll find out tomorrow.
I think McDavid will play tomorrow.
You do?
Well, he skated on.
He's been skating for like 3 weeks.
But he skated with lines yesterday, and I know he was just clearly a fill-in, but like Draisaitl was in and out. Like I feel like McDavid's skating consistently, and it says that he might be back. He's also missed. That would be his 7th game tomorrow.
He's missed 8 games, and it's felt like an eternity.
Yeah, it's like a new kid coming back again.
Gregor said this yesterday on his show. So people were texting in asking him about like putting a player on LTIR so the Oilers could call up somebody. And he said there was no one to do it because like McDavid would be the only one You could retroactively do
Get him
it
back for game one.
No, you would have him back for the LA game, and then he would have 2 games left. Because you can go back and say his 10th game would be whoever they play on Sunday. I think it's Winnipeg.
Oh, it's 10 games or 24 days.
But he also then went on to say that John Klingberg probably will never play for the Oilers again. So just put him on the LTIR of $1.8 million. You can keep Philpott. Also, we just go over that Bakersfield have no players, so maybe that's another reason why they're not doing it.
Maybe John Klingberg can play forward in Bakersfield.
Tweet them.
John?
No, the Oilers just, hey guys, I don't know if you guys caught this or not.
Yeah, there's nobody playing on your AHL team right now. John Klingberg needs some minutes.
Yeah.
He's got an infection or something like that.
Probably should have had a condition instead.
I feel like we get our infection rates high on the Oilers.
Something in the water.
No, I'm telling you, we need Rexall to be taken to the ground. That building is the issue. Blow it up, please.
It's poisoning the water supply.
It has been forever. We need to. That's the last little bit of the 80s Oilers that's still hung out there. Blow it up, please. Yankee Stadium got blown up instantly.
That is true. It did come down right away. Looking at the schedule, they got St. Louis tomorrow, Dylan Holloway. They got San Jose. And then on the weekend, tough schedule on the weekend. You got Winnipeg Sunday and then LA again on Monday. So those 4 very important games here.
Yeah. And then they end the season with a game against San Jose
on the road.
It is worth noting for the playoff picture, they clinch. It doesn't matter what anyone else does. As long as they beat San Jose in regulation, they can lose every game and have the Flames in Minnesota win every other game. As long as they beat San Jose in regulation twice, they're good.
Or they can win tomorrow and we can launch our new Nation Gear playoff gear.
Ooh, that's exciting.
It looks very good. Looks very good. I'll show you guys after. Maybe.
I don't want to see.
All right. The other thing I want to mention before we move on to the betting segment is Ovi. You got it. The fact that he did it this year, having broken his leg, it's pretty bananas.
There's a lot of weird things about it. Like he broke it on the same day the Capitals won the draft lottery to pick him. Just years apart.
Oh, he broke the record.
Like it was the same day on the cap. And then he scores it and the same amount of games to Gretzky score his.
Yeah.
It's
super
just
weird.
Yeah.
Although technically Gretzky scored his 7 games earlier.
Well, yes, because they use that amount of games for Gretzky.
I just wanted to trigger Tyler.
Well, it's a true technicality.
It is.
Facts are stats.
Yeah. So
everyone's like, well, Gretzky didn't score his last 7 games, so whatever. But my point is like, he could have. Like those are games he was just held scoreless in. So Gretzky scored, like they scored the same amount of goals in the same amount of games. Like
so Tyler's confirming.
I'm just whatever.
Gretzky did earlier.
Pretty cool game though. Moment. The game wasn't good at all.
My favorite moment was when he walked into that bar or whatever it was and immediately through the door, 2 beers, 1 in each hand. Good for you, Harry.
Thank you.
I love it.
I'm just glad it was not the empty netter from the night before. So hats off to him for saying, no, you know what, I'd like to wait. And then it was almost an OV goal, except for the one-timer. It's the old school like wrist shot.
Yep.
But in his spot.
Yep.
So I don't know if you guys saw, but Budweiser was promoting their like non-alcoholic beer and sent every goalie that faced shots from Ovechkin and didn't give up a goal. They sent them their own custom can of Budweiser Zero, and Cujo tweeted his, and it says like 0 of 2 or whatever. And
2 shots, no goals.
Ovi just tweeted Cujo back 6 minutes ago and said, "Thanks you. I probably score a goal on next shot, but you retired."
Let's drop the mic. You're walking out Costanza.
Yeah. I like
saves. Costanza.
And it was how many shots did you say Matthew Guerin stopped?
He was like 14. Matthew Guerin was one of the higher goalies on that list.
Good for him.
What's the number?
I think there was someone who was like 26.
What do you mean?
26 saves
shots
against
without
Ovechkin.
an OV goal.
No goals.
Goalies that faced Ovechkin.
Sorry, I seen. I was thinking like a team stat. I was like,
I'm just trying to figure out what
not
like
that
a
high.
normal number should be.
For what?
What's a baseline for this?
I'd say like 5.
Like Marc-Andre Fleury, if I remember right, was the most goals against, which makes sense because of how often Pittsburgh played Washington.
Yeah.
But there's some other ones on there.
Here's the list.
There you go.
So the number 1 was Vitek Vanacek at 19.
Wow.
And then Mike
he
Condon.
played on Washington.
He did,
Yeah.
yeah. Then Mike Condon at 18, Matty Guerin 16, Legacy at 14, Joey Decord at 14, Kevin Lankinen at 14. My favorite ones are the ones. Jacob Dobish and Trent Miner both stopped them once.
Are the Oilers on there?
Matthew Garon?
Cujo,
Yeah,
Garon, Colin DeLea is in the Oilers system right now.
When did he play in net for the Oilers?
Who?
Dalia?
Yeah, Delia.
No,
Never.
Is that not here?
Just in the
brought him-
system. He's in Bako right
He's
now.
in Bako.
But like, when did he stop Ovi on 2 shots?
Oh, Vancouver.
When he was a Canuck.
Oh, okay.
You
Okay.
were asking what would the normal line be? It would just be Ovechkin's shooting percentage.
No, like just what's a like a goaltender sees how many shots from a player. Like what's a normal number?
I'd say
You never really, it's never a stat you never hear a lot, right?
I would
That's
think
I want to know.
based off bet-in lines, I would think it's 2.
I want to know which goaltender took the most Ovechkin shots.
Well, it's also crazy that no goalie ever stopped 20 Ovechkin shots without giving up a goal. Like that is wild.
Yeah, like who Ovechkin's put the puck on the net on which goaltender the most, and then what is the number?
Oh, I don't know.
So we've been talking about this kind of record chase for 3 years now, I think, roughly.
Mhm.
Surprised he did it?
Yes. I
when
mean,
is that?
I
At
think
what point were you no longer surprised and it was more like inevitable?
Probably
like 3 weeks. No, this season.
early last year, I'd say.
I don't
When it
remember
was like-
last year.
Once he kind of got to within the 100 goals, and
Then
it was
it
like,
was-
okay, he's very like he's got to play like 3 more years and stay healthy, and he's going to crush this thing. Then it was kind of like he's going to do it once.
But he
I
was
thought he was
bad
going to
for
do it
2
next
years.
year. That's why I thought he was going to do it next year. So I was really surprised he did it this year.
Yeah, it was cool though.
Yeah, I mean, if you were telling me at the beginning of the season he was going to do this year, I'd be a little surprised. I mean, what did he do? 49 goal or 40 goals as a 39-year-old?
Yeah.
So that is impressive.
I think I saw last year when he was struggling
And then bounce back.
they kept going with it, and like Washington kept going to the pass it to Ovechkin kind of strategy.
It was going
that
to
it
be
was just gonna be a
inevitable.
case of,
He's
yeah,
going to
he
be
was just gonna-
74 years
Yeah.
old here, still doing
He
this.
could have
hasn't
rolled
gone
out
through
for the Capitals until he was 60 and would have been getting
That-
the goal.
The
other
funny thing
question-
too is like last year was a quote unquote down year for Ovi and he still had 31 goals.
Is this it though?
No,
That's the other angle. So he's got 1 more year left on that
he
contract.
plays next year, 100%.
I was wondering if like now that he's got it,
Team's good again.
yeah, but how much money could he make in the K?
What do you got to prove in that K?
What do you got to
What
prove
is-
here?
I don't.
Bingo.
Another cup?
Eh.
Another ring?
Eh.
Some more. What do you mean?
I don't think he cares. I think he would be perfectly happy to go back to Russia.
I think he's a professional athlete. He really he took the torch from Gretz in a very respectable, almost Canadian to Canadian type of way. You know what I mean? Like it's just, they look at it the same way, I think. Like he bowed down to, it didn't bow down, but he like bowed to Gretz the game previous. Like he really showed respect to the whole chase, the whole
legacy.
record itself. And I think that says a lot about him. And if his team is this good, I think he goes next year 100%.
So I think he plays out next year. The only way I don't think he actually does his contract last year
If they
is
win the cup?
if they win the cup this year.
Yeah,
think
then
that
I
would
can
be
see you walk,
fair.
but
I think he's going to try and get 1,000.
I think I'm a bitter old man when I think of like when I hear the fact that he turned down the empty net goal the previous game.
he
as
didn't
being
want
like
it that way.
a big thing. I don't know. It's like, I think he plays out the rest of his contract, and then I think he goes off to the KHL. I don't think that I don't think he has like a mindset of like, I'm going to go to the KHL now and make that bag. I just think that he's created a legacy here in the NHL, and he's going to finish that off with,
legacy, yeah.
with a few more goals and have a record that sits in the 900s instead of the 895
Yeah.
kind of.
Make it like a little bit more untouchable.
Yeah.
If it's
And-
not already.
I thought it was untouchable in the first place.
Gretzky still does own the record for most playoff and regular season goals if you put those together.
I do think that
So he may look at that and say, hey, maybe I can chase this now.
I do think seeing Ovechkin and how he played the game makes me believe that this isn't an untouchable record anymore. Just because I think that
Matthews is technically ahead of pace.
Yeah.
and that's where I just think like that the NHL, as we become more like aware of like prototypes and stereotypes of players, and you saw how Ovechkin, like I think back to when Ovechkin started, and I would have considered myself an Ovechkin lover versus a Crosby hater, and I loved the way that he just always played the game as a goal scorer, and just you respect the fact that he was always out there shooting the puck 6 and 7 times a game because the Washington Capitals knew that you had to outscore the other team. And so like, I really do think that we haven't seen the last of this record. And so that's why I think Ovechkin.
I just think what makes it tough, especially when you compare Matthews,
Longevity.
like Ovi's games
Health.
played. I'll just even give you the last 10 years.
He's a
79,
tank.
82, 82, 81, 68, 45, which was the COVID year, 77, 73, 79, 51.
He's missed
61.
like 35 games in his career.
72 games.
Yeah. Like to have a player, like we've already seen, Austin
That is
Matthews
true
is not
story,
going to play 1,500 NHL
Yep.
games. He's going to get hurt.
Matthews has already missed 72 games in his career.
Yeah.
Look at Ovechkin's got his body type is so unique.
Well, he's a tank.
That's just it. Like he's just the Russian machine.
He's listed at 6'3", 240.
I don't
He's
necessarily.
not
That is
240.
That is a tank.
Yeah.
No way he's 240.
What? What do you think?
He's over 250.
Oh, I bet you he's 260.
I was just saying that's what he's listed
yeah.
at. But even if you take what he's listed at, 6'3", 240 is a big man.
And you look at all the guys right now, who's going to get off the ice while all the cameras are around and reach in and grab himself a beer right after the game. And he's been doing it. I almost think he does it after every fucking game.
Well, he eats the Subway and Cheetos before every game.
But like, I loved you, right? The game he tied it. He was like, beers in the locker room. I'm like, that's my kind of guy.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, beers in the room.
But I mean, you don't see that. The Connor's not doing that. Nate's not doing that. Matthews is not doing that. Leon might, but there's like the German whole thing, the liking beer. But you know what I'm saying? Like the top of the top guys, they do not do that to their bodies.
Yeah. I get, like, my thing is I don't even think that the player, I would say that the player is not in the NHL right now that's going to replace him.
Yes.
But I just think that
Eventually,
another Ovechkin will come
for
along,
sure.
and again has that mentality to just score first,
He's
shoot
got that
first,
weird
always.
body style and the weird everything, and everything just kind of works for them.
Like
excited for
Ovi's
it.
such a throwback with his beers post game that it wouldn't have surprised me at all if he broke the record and lit a cigarette.
Dude, like he looks like a guy who you could get, like he's in the beer league. He's in the dressing room after the game.
Yeah, the goal celebration was a throwback to his Stanley Cup fountain celebration.
Yeah.
Like it's all just.
But I will say this, just to put a little, Mike Bossy's goals per game is 0.76. I think Ovechkin's is 0.6. If you're looking at the best goal scorer ever, that might be him.
Bossy with knees, right?
Yeah, he broke down.
I disagree with that.
Why?
The era. And also there's something to longevity doing it for
Sure, but the longevity shouldn't make you the better goal scorer.
But era wise,
Like that. Ovi's doing it against
Jordan or LeBron.
Jordan.
LeBron. Era.
Because of longevity.
Longevity and era.
I don't think,
Well,
I
and
don't
also
think so.
Tyler isn't old enough to have watched Jordan.
That's fair. You watched the Netflix special though.
Yeah, it's great.
It was.
Shout out to Ovi.
But I mean,
didn't
that's
think
the
this
thing
record was
about
gonna
Bobby
be
Orr,
Yeah, sure.
right? Cam Neely.
I think like the era part is certainly important
for
because
like 900 years.
That's what I'm saying. He's like the opposite of
Oh,
it. Right?
yes,
He's
fair,
the,
fair, fair.
he's the
Ovi is
antithesis.
doing it now against goalies that are good,
Goalies are gigantic.
except Olivier Rodrigue.
Yeah, he's
He's just a boy.
looks like Darren Pang out there.
23-year-old.
Maybe
Yeah,
not that
compared to
small.
where's Miko at? He was just towering out there, just like. "Brr." Shout out to Miko. Cheesy gordita crunches for the boys.
Yeah. Shout out Lico.
All right, we got to talk about a little bit of betting. I got some futures that I want to look at. I want to give a shout out to our friends at Bet365. Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win is a barn burner. Every face-off, hat trick, power play goal, shot on goal, penalty shot, and every suspenseful minute in between is amazing. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Download the Bet365 app, use the code NATION, and get in on the game, provided that you are 19 plus and can do so responsibly. Last night, I had a wonderful shot parlay last night. And I just want to thank the fine folks at Bet365 for giving me that opportunity. I will read it to you if I can find our real life group chat.
A little quick side note: Athletics in their new home stadium, take the over.
It's a small park.
Is it?
Hmm.
Is it like a minor league park?
Yeah, we're
There's
like
no fence.
4-0.
It's like when you're going to play
4-0
beer
on
league?
the over so far, I believe.
Slow pitch.
4-0. Wow.
It's only
Last night I had Hyman 3 shots, cleared that. Arvidsson 2 shots, cleared that. Bouchard 3 shots, hit that. Jeff Skinner 2 shots, hit that. Nuge, I had 2 shots. That turned 20 into 230 for me
I like
last
it.
night. That's a nice little.
Imagine if you
shot
predicted
parlay.
as 7.
Oh,
They play at home tonight.
I thought I was getting
Yeah.
greedy.
8.
I'll be watching.
I thought I was getting greedy where I was out with my shot props. I want to look at some futures though, because obviously things are going a little, well, they're interesting around here. Leon Draisaitl Hart is where I want to start. We missed it out at plus 400, Tyler. We weren't on the ball. We didn't set our alarms.
I know.
Guess that line. What do you think he's at today? Unless you already know.
Plus 200.
plus 300.
Damn
Plus
it.
350.
I know the answer.
He's only plus 115.
Wow.
It's a coin
Good.
flip for him and Hellebuck.
Good. It should be that. He shouldn't. Those
It's
those
just-
games
yeah, but he
shouldn't
has,
flip
like-
it so hard.
No, but I mean, he's been out for a bit, and there's at this point, do you think he comes back at all? There's only 5
Yeah.
games left. What do you got left to prove?
But in the same breath, who's he up against? Hellebuck?
Yep.
He doesn't play 82 games.
Counterpoint, Hellebuck plays all 60 minutes of the games he does play.
Mostly.
Counterpoint.
And
Technically not.
A lot more
without
standing.
what?
A lot more standing around
Offensive
for him.
zone. He is not playing. He's just standing there.
That's like saying Leon doesn't always have the puck on his stick, though.
But he only plays 20 minutes. Different.
Interesting argument.
We'll get into it later.
but Hellebuck
Call
might,
it pointless.
Hellebuck might be more important to his team, though.
I don't know that he is. though.
Disagree. Eric Comrie shut out Vegas the other day.
Yeah, but that'd be
Leon
like saying
Proves it.
Draisaitl's not as valuable. Jeff Skinner scored last night.
Exactly.
Leon is just like, they're different
You're
animals
right.
on the ice.
If Winnipeg had started Comrie all 80 games this year, it would have been never allowed a goal.
Like, I refuse to believe the Oilers go 0 for 5 or 0 for 6 on the power play last night. If Leon
That's-
does that.
They would have
They
got.
don't.
But
I think they would have got 2.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I think this shows how valuable he is.
I would vote Draisaitl if I had a vote.
So do I.
Then McDavid, then Wallman.
Yeah, I like it.
and that's why Liam.
We haven't touched Oilers Cup winner in a minute. Guess that line, unless you already know.
600.
6.
We'll say 8.
1,100.
Dan,
I'll say even 1,000.
it is plus 950, so pretty close at the even one. Plus
Get back in there.
1,000.
Wow.
Time to get back in there.
Do
Buy
you
the
think so? Obviously, the Oilers are banged up. Do you think it's going to help them having lowered expectations going into the playoffs?
We were joking before about how the Florida Panthers are hurt and everyone just keeps being like, oh, they're struggling. But you wait till they're healthy. You don't want to see the Panthers in the playoffs. And with the Oilers, everyone's just like writing them off, being like, well, they're fucked.
Since Biz got involved with that, all the Leafs fans are the same way. They think that the Panthers are throwing their games right now, so they play Toronto in the first round. And Toronto fans are not feeling confident right now.
But it's just weird how, like, yeah, the injuries for Florida and Ekblad's suspension, they're like, wait till they get him back. And in Edmonton, they're like, well, the Oilers are screwed.
So
they're
weird.
struggling. It's,
Yeah, even though they're over
all of our guys are skating. Yet I do believe if today were the playoffs, every single one of them every single one of them would be playing.
yeah, probably.
Yeah,
They're
probably.
literally just sitting back there, resting, getting ready to go.
I think that where my concern comes into, and it's the same thing for the Florida Panthers, is rounds 3 and 4. And that's just
I think that's why we're resting
it's
them.
the health benefits, but it is going to be those first 2 rounds and how tough those are. And I think that the LA Kings might be one of the tougher teams to have to play in the first round.
I
Get
think
it done
it'll be okay.
quickly.
Yeah, I agree. But
Any bets over there, Tyler?
I was looking at if maybe we want to talk a little bit about the East because you can bet on which division will produce the Stanley Cup representative for each conference. So like in the West, obviously we'd all pick the Pacific because the Oilers, the Pacific is plus 140, Central's minus 170. So you get Dallas,
Central
They
is
got those
who?
three-
Dallas.
They got the
Colorado?
3 teams.
Dallas, Colorado, Winnipeg,
Yeah.
and Minnesota and St. Louis, I guess, to the Pacific's 3.
Yeah, there's just more teams.
and Nashville.
What else you got?
So in the East, it's the Atlantic and the Metro, obviously. The Atlantic gets you Toronto, Tampa, Florida, Ottawa, and then likely Montreal. And the Metro would get you Washington, Carolina, and New Jersey. If you had to pick one of those, which one do you think is most likely? Because you do get the Caps in the Metro.
You get the Caps on one, but it's quality over quantity.
And again, like one of Carolina or Washington is going to get to that final series. It's not like the final could be, in all likelihood, could be Florida versus Tampa or whatever, right? So the Eastern Conference final would be Washington or Carolina against one of those teams from the Atlantic.
If I'm picking from the East, I'm going Metro.
You like
I think like
quality over quantity.
Washington just looks like a team of destiny right now a little bit, as much as that's painful to say. So I would put my vote to the Metro.
Yeah, I'm going to the Leafs division.
Yeah, I'm in the Leafs division too.
They are heavily favored at minus 190. So you'd be getting plus 155 on yours.
I agree there.
I do think the Capitals will be there. So I'm
Metro
going
it is.
Metro.
And what are the odds for my A's tonight on the over? Who do they play?
Oh, it's minus 120.
Oh, by the way, I hit a nice
On
little
the
parlay
over.
yesterday on the Jays. Just Vladdy 2+ bases, Springer 2+ bases. Very nice.
George is on fire.
The A's, the over-under is at 8. Set at 8 even. They're taking on Dylan Cease and the San Diego Padres. A's are going with Jeffrey Springs.
Sonny Gray still around?
He is still around, Liam. Good
On
call.
the A's?
No, he's on the Reds now.
What about Josh Reddick?
No, he's out.
What about that one guy who did the home run derby?
Billy Bean.
Separus.
Yeah, that
Jonas
guy.
Cespedes?
Yeah, that one.
He's out.
Oh, he's done now?
How about
He's
Ricky
been gone a
Henderson?
while.
Tragically dead.
Same way.
Well,
Same place Billy Bean is.
I forgot about that.
Billy Bean is not dead.
I thought he passed away recently.
This is a podcast of misinformation.
Billy Bean, the A's GM?
Billy Bean
Isn't
did
he?
pass away in August.
Thank you.
No.
Hold on. I'm talking about the dude that was on Moneyball.
Okay, that Billy Bean is still alive. There was
Brad Pitt is also still alive.
Yes, there was a Billy Bean who worked in the front office of Major League Baseball who was not the GM of the A's. That Billy Bean is
Somebody
still
needs
alive.
to change their name.
Also known as Mr. Bean.
Hold on, they're still alive too?
Roman
That person is
Atkinson,
still
he's
alive as well?
Dead.
Oh.
That person passed away last year, but the Billy Bean from Moneyball still alive.
What about
Okay.
Jonah Hill's character?
Still alive. Jonah Hill's character is actually a conglomerate of like 3 people.
Really?
But Jonah Hill
Wow, he
is
did
dead.
so well.
CGI.
Wow.
They CGI'd Jonah Hill. What about that? What was
Really?
that
I
one?
didn't know Jonah Hill was 3 people.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
there wasn't really like one person. It's like
Well, none of it's true.
Confusing.
Does
They
the
wanna
little
pay all
girl
the
even
actors.
sing at the end of the movie in
that was
real
also
life?
4 little girls.
That was the chorus. Yeah.
Billy Bean actually had 4 daughters. That whole movie's just wrong. So.
Okay, so if you say Billy Bean is alive or dead, the answer is yes.
All right,
Yeah,
fair
Billy
enough.
Bean from MLB passed away in August. Billy Bean from the Oakland A's still alive.
Rest in
Ricky
peace,
Henderson still
Billy.
dead.
Yeah.
I
Passed
can't
away.
believe Ricky Henderson did.
Yeah, they did a
recently.
moment of silence for him at the home opener.
Yeah, recently.
Damn.
That was a weird 5 minutes, guys.
Why?
I just feel like we went to a lot of weird places there.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's fun.
You know.
Yeah.
People enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know how it goes. Right.
Rick's been telling people that the guy from Moneyball's dead.
Ricky Williams, still out there.
Still out there.
Still smoking weed?
Yep.
As Ricky.
I always love
Oh,
that
yeah.
story. He's like, you know what? NFL, not for me.
You almost got pulled into the.
I got a Ricky Williams signature on an Edmonton Eskimos football.
There you go.
Little ball.
Did he play it?
He came here with the Argos once.
Those were the days. Remember when Johnny Manziel played for Hamilton? I went to that game.
Those were the days.
Ocho Cinco. with
Ocho
Montreal.
Cinco, too. Although Ocho Cinco, very complimentary of the CFL.
Very.
Yes. Said it's a good league.
Very, very complimentary.
Unlike the GM of the Elks. Am I right, guys? I'll go to a couple of games this year.
I'd like to,
It's fun.
you know.
Ricky Reid, Fred Stamps down the sidelines. Touchdown.
Lucius
Very
Floyd's still around, right?
Lucius Floyd. Yeah.
Downtown Eddie Brown.
Yep.
What a catch off his foot.
Yep.
Mhm.
In the
In
snowball.
snow.
It
hit the ground. Can you get
Doug
real
Flutie's shoe came off. That was a terrible call.
Argonaut?
Gizmo's going to return a punt and do a front flip. We're all going to go bananas.
Mhm. He's so good.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail biting overtime win is a barn burner. Every face-off, hat trick, power play, shot on goal, and penalty shot. Every suspenseful minute in between is amazing. Whatever the moment's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use the code NATION. Going to wrap up the podcast here. We got St. Louis on deck tomorrow. Big game against a team that is red hot.
Ice cold now.
Sans Holloway.
Lost their first game in
Lost.
12.
So they're on a losing streak, is what you're saying.
Keys to victory, Liam. Tomorrow,
So
St.
are
Louis
we.
Blues at home at Rogers Place. We do not know who is playing for the others.
Literally the whole.
There will be bodies out there. We just don't know which ones.
Will they survive
Maybe
the 60 minutes? Find out.
Maybe
Yeah,
a
more
couple of
tomorrow.
golden bears.
Oh, yeah.
Roll them out.
Key to victory tomorrow.
Can I start?
Yeah.
Score a
please.
goal.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yep.
Maybe 2 or 3 if you
You're gonna
can.
need a couple.
6,
Uh,
10, whatever.
I liked what they did yesterday in the way they scored their goals, like getting to the net. And like this team, like Rick said, is basically a bunch of 3rd, 4th liners right now. Besides, obviously, guys like Nugent-Hopkins. Play a little greasy, get to the net, all that good stuff.
Rick, what do you got?
Just keep that defensive structure the same. I think we've been doing a much better job of it lately. We need to keep doing this going into the playoffs. So let's keep it on the. And when those guys come in, they'll join in.
Dan, what do you got?
I want to see shots off the rebound. I would like to see some offense produced from an arm's reach of the blue paint.
Tyler, what do you got?
Stay healthy, number 1. Play low event hockey, number 2. I felt like they gave the Ducks a couple too many good quality grade A sort of easy looks. Don't do that to St. Louis.
I'd like some puck support too. I noticed last night there was a little bit of flying the zone on the breakout, which drives me nuts. Give the defenseman options that is not at the other blue line. That would be very helpful. I would like that. Reversing the order. One more round. Tyler, you're up.
Score prediction?
Or just a key to victory.
Oh, key to victory.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for wait, I thought we just did keys to victory.
No, I'm doing one more round around the horn. Back again.
Another key to victory.
I already gave 2. Score if you get 6 power plays. How
there
about
you
that?
go. That's one. Dan.
Wow.
I will say more shots from the forwards.
I would like to see also, to Tyler's point about the power play, maybe a different entry strategy. That might be nice.
Yeah, just if you're on the blue
One straight
line,
across
just
the blue line.
get in the zone.
All like to at least inside the circles, then you can button hook or drop pass or do whatever.
Yeah.
One step in and then dishing one way or the other. No.
There was one yesterday where I don't know who it was on the boards, but they got the puck and all they had to do was step in. They had tons of space and they were in the zone. And they passed it to the middle of the ice for the guy rushing. They got knocked off the stick and went back. And it's just like, just get in. You don't have McDavid and Draisaitl. Just get in the zone.
One more key to victory, Rick.
I want to see them play a little more aggressive physically out there.
What do you got?
Be
I will
aggressive
say get in the zone.
all the way.
Yeah.
You mean respect the blue lines?
Respect the blue lines.
I know. I don't. Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
It makes sense, doesn't it?
It's never your key to victory.
It really does.
Respect the blue lines. All right, score prediction. Let's wrap up the podcast. Liam, what do you say?
Do I have to give 2 or just 1? No.
You can give 2. Sure.
I will go 4-3 Edmonton.
Rick?
It's 4-2 Edmonton.
Dan?
2-1 Edmonton.
4-2 Blues.
With a smile on his face.
Your second one?
Happy about it. Yeah, what's your second
Go
score
ahead.
prediction?
5-3 Oilers.
You're really going to enjoy a 6-1 Oilers win tomorrow night at Rogers Place. Everything will be right in the world when we score 6. Have a great rest of the week, everybody.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.